What's good, y'all? This your boy Black G92 checking in on this fine night, and just got done watching the BET Hip Hop Awards an hour ago, and I have to say it was alright. It was alright, save for a few performances as well as Lil Wayne's acceptance speech for the I Am Hip Hop Award, and well as the tribute video they put together for him to pay homage and show respect was dope. All the other performances were just like lacking in energy, and folks, the people that performed, especially, I hate to say it, Lil Baby Gunna didn't really do much on stage. They just stood there, just like kind of just rapped their verses. That's it. There's no jumping, hopping up, down stage, or hopping the crowd or nothing. And the ciphers are always like the best segment of the BET Hip Hop Awards anyway, so that's a no brainer. But there's one that just under deliver, especially Blockboy JP's verse. Oh my God. The less said about his verse, the better. For those that have watched it will know what the fuck I'm talking about. He done let Memphis down and gave those purists the more reason to think the South has no lyrics. Thank you, JP, for making it hard for us Southern folks to prove that the South got good music down here. Boy. But anyway, on to some other shit. About to review Jay Green's mixtape that was dropped back in 2012 titled Fuck Mainstream Codeine Funk. And for those that might not be familiar with Jay Green, he is a producer slash rapper born and raised in Atlanta, North Side to be exact. His sound is heavily influenced from the Memphis 90s rap scene. And you could definitely tell from his production work and featuring his mixtapes, EPs, and such. And he has worked with people such as DJ Paul, Juicy J, Project Pat, Lord Infamous, rest in peace, Coops and Nigga, rest in peace, Slim Donkey, rest in peace, Sorry the Kid, and a few other familiar names you may know of. And like on this tape, he pretty much produces all the tracks on there. And the features are quite immense. They include Loco Done It, 275 Dirty Red, 275 Fway God Lil Champ, 275 Ethel Wolf, who now goes by the name of Xavier Wolf, 275 Young Simi, DJ Paul, 2 Chainz, Project Pat, Juicy J, Nasty Mane, Stunt Mellow, Lil Ari, 275 Denzel Curry, 275 Young Raw, Rebellious, 275 Scott Lexington, 275 Nell, B-Dub, and the rap group 479 crew. And also another thing I'd like to mention on this tape, it was released at the height of Raider Clan's popularity, which was led by Space Ghost Perp. And this tape, along with several other releases that were flooding the internet, predates the SoundCloud rap scene you see today. So you definitely can see some parallels within those two like rap scenes subgenres. And the mixtape starts off with a track titled North Side, which basically has Jay Green in 2 verses representing his side of Atlanta over a banging ass instrumental, which starts off with a little crackling sound and this little sample from a Beastie Boys track where it goes like, oh. You may have to check out the song to get just what I'm talking about. And then the beat drops, and the beat heavily samples a late 90s track by M Child, a former artist from Private Entertainment / Hypnotized Minds, titled Orange Mound. And like the hook goes something like, instead of Orange Mound, Orange Mound, Orange Mound, niggas, and we gonna turn it out. On this one, since it's Jay Green's song, it goes like, on my north side, niggas, and we gonna turn it out. Oh. And sets off the tempo and the theme mood for the entire tape. Holds none back. Pretty much hits you in the face with a banger that's perfect for the party, kickback, whatever. And doesn't let up with this next track, BGSD, which is initials for Busters Get So Dazed. And the hook goes something like, Busters get so dazed and amazing, the pain, the memories of smoke that look that bucking with them demon dance. Is some lines from Play a Fly verse off like his appearance on 3 6 Mafia's Mystic Styles Posse cut off of their debut album back in '95 with the same name. And the beat kind of harkens back to that sound, as I mentioned earlier. And Local Dunn starts off with a rapid fire delivery, reminiscent of his uncle DJ Paul. And for those that may not be familiar, and Jay Green follows right back up with a verse of his own. Another banging ass track, really rocking with it. And then the next track following that is Static, and it kind of switches up things a bit, but still has that boom, boom, boom. There's a lot of bass, so it's more on that Mac type style. As Jay Green pretty much warns any potential adversaries that, hey, don't get mad at me, get mad at your chick for wanting to get with me. That type of track. And it's a pretty cool song, whatever. It's a pretty cool song, whatever, on a different type of spill. And next track, 9mm Part 2. Pretty self-explanatory. Jay Green pretty much describing what you'll do to haters with his 9mm in hand. You know, basically what you expect on a song like that. None to it. And oh my God, the next track on here, I feel like it's a highlight of the whole tape. One of the many highlights, I'll add, titled Niggas Like Us, which features 275, Dirty Red, and Fway, God Lil Champ, who are members of the Raider Clan. And the hook is this direct sample of A-Ball MJG's track of the same name, All Coming Out Hard. And each of them come through with like top-notch verses. Pretty much like giving a finger to haters, like gets topped off by females. And one of my favorite lines from the track when Jay Green goes something like, give that hoe a kiss, but not with my lips. I paint her face like Kiss. You dig? Straight cold macking with it at his best. And comes at the very end of the track, and it ends abruptly till the next track following that is 66.6 syllables. And like the beat has a lot of samples from a track which I can't really remember as of now, but I recognize it was somewhere. I just don't have the name on me. But Ethel Wolf comes through with a crazy ass flow, like very high pitch and quick, and just doesn't fuck around. Just coming through, just kills that shit. And definitely the best verse on that track. And if you hear this song yourself, you definitely know what I'm talking about. And like another thing like that onto the beat, it has that little woman's scream, whatever. And by, I believe, from Mortal Kombat games. I'm not too sure exactly. But anyway, Jay Green comes through with a tongue twisted verse of his own, but not as fast as Ethelwolf, but compliments it as well. A favorite track of mine, definitely another highlight off this tape. Best song thus far right now. No, all facts. And this track, Funk Psalms, basically follows a similar format as the previous track, except that the beat is kind of switched up a bit, kind of slowed down on some cooling in your riding around in your whip type record. That's like Jay Green and Young Simi on that Max shit, pretty much talking about taking dudes' girlfriends, and if they step wrong, they gonna stuff them in the trunk, that sort of thing, which you expect on a type of track like this. And after each of their verses, a beat suddenly switches up to this little dub step type like vibe to it, with like distorted on purpose, go like very ideal for a rave or electro music type dance parties. But and definitely shows what Jay Green is capable of when it comes to production. You can definitely switch up on like as far as snares, bass, whatever. And while each of the tracks on here follow a similar aesthetic, there's definitely a lot of switch ups within like the formulas of each individual track to keep the listeners interested without being bored. And next track, basically a skit, Jay Green announcing his email for bookings for features and beats, whatever, and talking about people that wear do-rags, caped out instead of tying them up. Like a regular person, nothing to it, overstays its welcome after umpty time listening to it. And the next track is a DJ Paul 2 Chainz track titled Cocky, which originally appeared on DJ Paul's solo tape, which dropped within that same year of 2012, titled For I Have Sinned. And aside from another track from a couple years before hearing this tape, for hearing For I Have Sinned, this is like the first time I actually seen his name, seen Jay Green's name featured on like something on a major scale. And caught my ear. And like, and as it was like the best track on that tape, it definitely sounds just as fresh on here. DJ Paul coming through, doing his usual shit, you know what I mean? And 2 Chainz comes through with another stellar verse that he was well known for back in 2011, 2013 era when like everybody and their grandma wanted a 2 Chainz verse when he was like the guy to go to for guest features. And my favorite line off of there, when he's going something like, I got that heat, the Wayne Wade, LeBron James, nigga. That was my favorite line off his verse. And also on that track, the dubs are showing up again, but instead of Jay Green doing them, is this other dude named Crazy Mike that does the dubstep after the hook comes through after 2 Chainz verse. And complements the track well, adds something new to it. And kind of ends off right there, leading into Money and Marijuana, a Project Pat, Nancy Main joint featuring Juicy J on the hook. And the track is self-explanatory about money, marijuana, and fucking hoes, that type of track. And Project Pat comes through with his iconic, unique flow, doing what only Project Pat would know how on the verse. Nancy May doesn't do so bad himself neither. Actually compliments the track as well. And definitely another party starter for those that like to get their drink on, smoke on, whatever, snort, pop pills, whatever. It's definitely a track where he is, his title says. And the track following that, Lord Codeine, takes things down a notch and has this little vibe that will remind you of one of those old Nintendo, Sega Genesis video games, and also reminiscent of the minds off that lean. Hence the title and what Jay Green's pretty much talks about on this record, which is pretty smooth little joint. And it's definitely perfect for slow riding in the whip, just cruising at 2 miles an hour speed, and whatnot. And definitely perfect for those like it for a chop the screw treatment. I don't know why there's not a version of it chop the screw somewhere, but if I do find it, if it has been done, I'm definitely downloading that shit because this song is definitely perfect for that. And track following that, Hypnotize, Hidden Message. It's also a very haunting choir type sound, and the beat kind of picks up the pace. Jay Green comes through with a very high energetic verse. Pretty much letting people know that he's been doing 808s and such, and ain't no rookie to this as far as the whole Memphis style production and sound that he's been doing for I don't know how long, because if you look into like his discography, yes, stuff dating back in 2007, probably before even that. And like after that verse ends, the outro has this little deep deep voice, kind of very demonic, that's backmasked. And I've heard it a few times, like actually several times. I can't really make out what's actually being said, but for those that's into like hearing those type of sounds in their music, definitely recommend you check it out and take a guess and stab in the dark. Highly recommend it. And the track following that, Kaja Sose, and the track begins with an excerpt from the movie Usual Suspects, and in that same monologue, mentions the movie character Kaiser Sose, and Jay Green comes through with the same very high energy type verse, just letting folks know that talk down on them, that he gonna pull up with his goons and like shoot them guns out the whip, whatever, on some Kaiser Sose type shit. Hence the title. And Lil Ari, who was another producer that worked on DJ Paul and Juicy J, like around the same time Jay Green was working under them, comes through with a killer verse. And he'll remind you of a younger Project Pat mixed with a bit of DJ Paul at the same time. And he comes through and doesn't fuck around. Compliments the subject matter at hand, and I give you another stellar track. And their second song they done together, Psycho Sounds, starts off with some like vocal samples from various underground 666 Mafia type songs, and Lil Ari comes through with a very deep voice and very evil sounding flow. And Jay Green goes pretty similar pattern with somewhat different, as you kind of tell which is which, and follows the similar subject matter as the previous track, and does so just as effective. And track following after that switches up the sound a bit, as it's not on that trunk rather type stuff. It's more on that party twerk type anthem. Hence by title, going ratchet, stump mellow, pretty much does 2 verses on there. And the beat that Jay Green provides is very reminiscent of how DJ Mustard and a host of West Coast producers out in the Bay Area have used when that sound was first started gaining traction around that same year with the hey, 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 hey. And it's a similar type vibe to it, which is quite interesting and very different from the previous songs. And to be honest, I wasn't really feeling it as much as it kind of left from those previous songs I just heard. But after a while, I've grown to like the song. And track following that is Still, and it's back on that pimpish type subject matter and vibe, and has a still getting my ticks up, and has various samples of different folks of that the whole Memphis rap scene, and Jay Green come through on that pimping shit. And it's a pretty smooth cut. Definitely recommend it. And next track following that is my favorite track off the tape, From the South. Not only is the sample is from an old DJ Zerk track, Too Thick, and the whole that not only Jay Green uses on here, but that was first used by DJ Zerk, was from a Joski Love track titled My Girl. And it's used effectively on this track. And Jay Green in his verse pretty much talking about how folks used to like talk shit about the South, which today they still do, but not as much as most of the people that done came out this year. Not from, say, like GA, Florida, Louisiana, Texas, the southern region of the U.S., Dunbar, the sounds, 808s, heavy bass, snare, kicks from the South. So as you can see, it's still borrowing from it. So it kind of died down. We still got those people that look down on it. But on this track right here, like, that's what Jay Green pretty much talks about. And Denzel Curry comes through with a very rapid fire verse and flow, pretty much representing Raider Clan and how he comes through from the South. And like the track ends like that after this verse ends. And next track is Max shit. As you can tell by the title, that's pretty much the subject matter of the song is. And like as each person on the track from Rebellious, Jay Green, Sky, Lexington, and Young Raw comes through with their own little iterations of that Maggot lifestyle. How they'll let the chicks ride with them, but it's gonna be some money be made. It ain't gonna be just some free ride type shit. And on the beat right here is like very smooth and just easy going, short, simple, straight to the point. As with the next track, I don't know how if it's an acronym or not, but I guess it is. It's PHLO, which is L&B dub. Like pretty much rips the track, and I also like to add the beat samples a late '90s Jermaine Dupri track titled "Don't Hate on Me" off of his Life in 1472, which features Crazy Bone and the Brat. And like, if you hear that track and compare the track that samples it, you think it came out this year. That's how ahead of its time it is. And greatly compliments, especially B-Dub's verse, where he comes through with a very tongue-twisting, like rapid-fire delivery flow, the cap off the track. And leads into the final song on the mixtape, Pop Beans, which is a posse cut that features Project Pat and the 479 crew, as well as Jay Green. Project Pat does a catchy verse talking about sipping syrup, popping pills, drinking Hennessy, y'all. And 479 crew comes through with some very hard-hitting verses, pretty much paying homage to not only Project Pat, but the whole 3-6 Mafia, as well as Mac Dre, Screw, all the OGs that done inspired them. And Jay Green comes through with his very demonic verse, like greatly complimenting the track. And cap it off, the outro pretty much has the same instrumental as From the South, and Jay Green talks about like when this tape was released, how everything just sounds the same as far as beat selection. The only thing being different is like the voices of the people that's rapping on it, and also very reminiscent of those outros from like any 3-6 Mafia album. For those that may be familiar, there's always an outro where Paul and Juicy J pretty talk shit and make announcements about new projects coming out within that respective year, as Jay Green does so, mentioning a part 2 of this tape that is yet to be released. And also, it's very funny because he also states that it's just the fact he doesn't mention the year the tape is released. If people heard this in 2015 or 2025 or 2050 and they don't even know what like year it came out, which I say is very genius on this part, because when I first came across this tape, the whole tape last year, I couldn't really tell, to be honest with you. And not me just talking just for the sake of it. I mean that literally. That's how ahead of his time Mixtape is as far as production and execution, which rounds it up to a 4 out of 5. Rounds up to a 4 out of 5. Very solid project, and like from start to finish. Shout out to Jay Green, Schema Posse, as well as all the former and current members of Raider Clan, as well as all the features. This is Black G92. I'll be back with another review. All right, peace.